ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 30 of the Game Time Gents. I'm one of your co-hosts, Nardy, here as always with Fish and Zoltowski. Boys.
Hello.
There you go.
Hello.
And we do not have a very structured show today. We have a big news episode with all the things that have been going on in the NFL with free agency, all the re-signings. We're going to get into
My phone's just been going off nonstop.
Yeah, Adam Schefter has personally been blowing up my phone, as is Ian Rappaport. So it's been pretty fun to sit there and watch.
The NFL app, ESPN app, just ding, ding, ding.
Every second of every day. So, all right. So what we're going to do, we each have NFL.com open here. We're just going to run through every team and look at all the big signings, all the free agents that are still available as well. And then we're going to see how we think it's going to impact the league going forward. So does anyone want to start us off? We're starting off with the AFC East, the Buffalo Bills.
I mean, I'm just glad Josh Allen got his bag. Hopefully he can bring him a Super Bowl ring eventually here in the future. Get over that hump in the playoffs against the Chiefs.
I mean, look, out of all the big contracts that have been thrown out there, this is one of the ones that
makes sense.
Is so well deserved, right?
Yeah.
Everybody thought, I mean, we talked about him earlier this year or last year, we just didn't know without his receiving core, what was he really going to do? And he actually showcased it. And for once, the team actually, paid him. 6 years, $330 million worth, $250 million guaranteed. I mean, that's great money. I'm also looking here. They also signed Shakir to a 4-year extension.
Yep.
And then they also picked up a Josh Palmer too, which I think could be a little sleeper for them too if they run him just like Shakiri as well. Or Shakir, I guess, excuse me. I think they've done really well so far. I know that the edge guy, who is it, Greg Rousseau?
Yeah, Greg Rousseau signed a 4-year, $80 million extension. Now, they did let aging Von Miller go, but they did kind of fill that hole with Michael Hoyt, I believe is how you say his last name. He was from the Rams last year. 3-year deal, $24 million. So
I think that I saw too that it was they left on good terms and they're still interested in the future, or maybe that was with a different team. But I remember seeing that news that was it wasn't a bad breakup with the Von Miller.
Yeah, Von's aging, so I don't even know if he's gonna play anymore. I know he's getting up there. He's one of the few players that went to the ayahuasca trips with Aaron Rodgers in his documentary. So,
oh boy. But Bernard, linebacker, I know I had him in fantasy last year as an IDP, and he was pretty productive. He had a pretty good run for me. So I think that's a good extension there.
Yeah, I mean, look, they've been pretty active. They've done the right things. They didn't really get any massive names outside, Josh Allen and Rizal, but they signed key components. They've already got chemistry with Shakir. They added in a Shakir type in Josh Palmer as well. So, I mean, they're going to have to rely on Josh Allen to do everything again, but at least they'll have a full year to develop the chemistry with those guys. Plus, they have Keon Coleman, who could develop into that number one with the big frame and body size that he has.
Yeah.
Josh Palmer is not a slow guy either. He was very, very quick. So, I mean, they've made all the right moves so far. So, very impressed with the Bills so far.
Did they release Amari, or they still have Amari too?
Amari did not come back.
Okay.
It was a 1-year deal. Well, I think that they just picked up the rest of the Browns contract, which was the rest of that year. And he's not been signed anywhere yet, I don't believe, and he's not been brought back. So, going to be interesting to see what happens with Amari. But the Bills did also shore up the running back room a little bit more. Now that we know they have, is it James Cook? Yeah,
yep.
James Cook.
Yeah.
And then they also have the young rookie from last year. I can't remember his name. Anyways, they also signed Darrington Evans, which is a depth player, and then they did re-sign Ty Johnson to a 2-year deal, who's a really good pass-catching back out of the backfield for them.
Yeah, that's all they use him for, which is fine. So,
yeah. Then they re-signed Reggie Gilliam too, which is one of the best blocking fullbacks in the league. Well, one of the only fullbacks left, but all right,
bring him back, man.
Yeah, moving on to the Dolphins. Zach Wilson finds a new home. signing a
Zach
1-year
Wilson.
deal. We don't know any of the numbers for that, but I'm sure it's a 1-year prove-it deal. So
All right.
good for him.
Do you think this is because of the situation that happened last year when Tua went out and they had no one back there?
I mean, it's got to be an insurance policy
Right.
at some point.
I mean,
I feel like it's one of those situations where he's still young enough, right? He never really
Yeah.
had that true ability with the Jets. Who knows? I mean, they get him on a 1-year minimal deal, right? There's no risk for them essentially. If it doesn't work out, they lose the 3 million or 6 million that they're paying him or whatever.
Yeah.
If it does, I mean, if Tua goes out again, which the probability is very high, if he goes out again, Zach Wilson, I mean, with the receivers that he has there, just be somewhat accurate. I mean, it looks like they beefed up their O line just a little bit. Signing Larry Borom and James Daniels as well to a 3-year, $24 million deal. So at least they're making the correct moves. Now it really depends on if Tyreek wants to stay there. I know it looks like they signed Nick Westbrook to 2 years to 2 years, $6.5 million deal as well. I'm not saying he's gonna be the next Tyreek, but I think that's just depth. But you never know. I mean, if Tyreek stays there, if something happens to Tua and Zach Wilson steps in, I mean, he had a strong enough arm in college and did showcase fairly well with the Jets. I just don't think he ever. I mean, we've talked about this before. I don't think he ever really got that opportunity to really showcase his actual skill. So they went ahead and banged someone's mom. So I don't know. I think it's a mediocre agency right now for the Dolphins at least. So not crazy impressed for what they signed, and it doesn't look like outside of James Daniels, there's no one really massive contracts, no franchise changing players to be added. So
Well, Nick Westbrook too. He's a little bit different of a receiver than Tyreek and Waddle are down there. He's a little bit bigger, a little bit more physical. So it's probably good to get to a weapon like that he can target in the red zone there. And then they signed one of your boys there, Zoltowski.
yeah, Ifatu Melifonwu. I know he only played in like 3 games last year. He was okay in 2023. I know they're really going with Terry Arnold back there on the Lions. So, and I think we let Carlton Davis. We'll get to it later, but Carlton Davis go as well. So I'm wondering where he's gonna. I think he got traded, maybe.
I think
Or they just released him.
He got signed somewhere.
Yeah.
It's like a
Yeah, we'll pick it up eventually, but
to the Packers or Patriots. Sorry.
yeah, that's so next on the list.
Yeah,
But,
Carlton
I mean,
Davis got
yeah.
signed to the Patriots for 3 years, $60 million, which you and I talked yesterday. It kind of seems like a lot for Carlton Davis, but we were also just talking they're going to overpay because they're rebuilding. So
Yeah, I mean, if we're just going to jump right into the Patriots because they're next on the list, I mean, yeah, that one we did talk about that. It was surprising, but like we said earlier, I know they have the money, and they're going after it. They really want to build around Drake May. They signed Mac Hollins to a 2-year, $8.4 million deal. Austin Hooper, who re-signed. They got an O lineman, Morgan Moses, to a 3-year, $24 million deal. So they're out there. They picked up the astronaut Joshua Dobbs to a 2-year, $8 million deal, which just to have some assurance back there. We saw him play pretty well when he was there after 2 years ago when Kirk got hurt, and then he was on the Vikings. So he's definitely got some potential there. But they've been splurging. The Patriots have.
I think there is one name that we are forgetting, right? And to your point, though, I know they're trying to build around Drake May, right? Getting Mac Hollins is not building around him, so they didn't even make a big splash in. What do you mean? Oh yeah, what is wrong with this guy, huh? Oh yeah, okay.
Horrible last year.
No, but if they're truly trying to build around Drake May, Mac Hollins is not the guy. Mac Hollins is a 3, borderline 2. They need to go after someone in the draft. Obviously, we got a little bit of time for that to happen. But I mean, it's not a horrible addition. But it's not the greatest. He's not a franchise game-changing guy. But one guy that could be a game-changing guy, he got his ring, and now he got paid. Sad to see him go, but Milton Williams. don't sleep on that guy. That guy is strong in the trenches. Now I'm curious to see what they do if they do build more and more. Now he did have Jalen Carter on the side of him, big baby, Jordan Davis back there. Does he warrant or does he get that much penetration with just him or him getting doubled? I don't know. We'll see what happens this season if those numbers were inflated just a little bit because of the crazy trenches that we had, but he got paid 4 years, 104 million, which is massive for a guy that is essentially 3 years in, won a ring, and cashing out 51 million of it guaranteed though, which is kind of crazy, and then including a 24 million dollar signing bonus. Kind of makes you wonder if we paid just a little bit more attention to football, and back in our day, I don't know, 24 million Stein contracts kind of hits hard a little bit. So, but good. I mean, glad to see them doing. I mean, they made a lot of moves here. So, I mean, we'll see what happens when they draft. Build around Drake May. So,
And we do have some breaking news here
whoa.
for a team we've already covered. The Buffalo Bills have signed Joey Bosa to a 1-year,
so they did sign him.
$12.6 million deal with the Bills there. So they lose Von Miller, they gain Joey Bosa.
I saw rumors he was going to go play with his brother.
That's going to be really good coming
I
off the
thought so
trenches.
too.
Him and Rousseau there, or coming off the edges.
If he stays healthy.
Yeah, but I mean, Bosa's very
He's
good.
fine.
He's not as good as his brother, but he's still got some left in the tank. So, all right, but moving on here, a team that's been a little bit more quiet, the New York Jets. Now they did sign their quarterback. They got him on what I would say is kind of a bargain deal. Justin Fields is pretty good, so I think the money he got is probably adequate. The 2-year, $40 million deal with $30 million fully guaranteed. Definitely a prove it deal, right? I mean, he's linking back up with Garrett Wilson up there in New York. They played at Ohio State together. So it's going to be interesting to see if that chemistry goes forward. I'm pretty sure that they've worked together in the off seasons and stuff. I'm sure that they've stayed close friends, but very interesting to see Justin Fields is not going to be a Pittsburgh Steeler. So I'm wondering where they're going to go there. Probably Rodgers, but
That's what he's linked to. Honestly, this might be I think it'd be a fairly. I mean, look at all the Brees Hall managers, right?
yeah,
We knew that he struggled last year. Now you kind of give him a dual threat quarterback who has been known to run very, very well. Could open up a lot of the game for them. I'm not saying Rodgers is a scrub back there, but he didn't run. He threw a lot of picks, but he didn't run. But no, I mean, it was a good signing. Again, it's a prove a deal, which is kind of shitty for him where you go to the Steelers, think that you're going to start and then back up, then you play a little bit, and then you got, essentially sign somewhere else to just repeat that process. So kind of shitty for him, but I think this is a better home, better suitable place for him than Pittsburgh, at least. So I don't know. They've been very quiet, but I mean, they've been signing some players that they needed to kind of fill in some of those gaps, especially up on defense. It looks like the next 3 guys that they signed, linebacker, cornerback, and safety, kind of beef up that defense, which was already potent enough. So it's good on them. Now we just get to see 1,000%. So even if Fields can remotely throw just a little bit better than Anthony Richardson, we should be fine there. So.
All right, next we have the AFC North. We have the Baltimore Ravens first, not my favorite team. Just going to go ahead and throw that out there now.
Sorry, second favorite team.
Nope.
Pretty sure it's your favorite.
DeAndre Hopkins has found a new home, signed a 1-year, $6 million contract. So kind of wondering if this is his last ride. Going to go play with Lamar. They did re-sign Patrick Ricard, which I don't know if you guys know. Every time the guy goes on the field, he's 300 pounds. So
Ouch.
every announcer
he's noticeable.
He's a big fullback. And then they also signed Ronnie Stanley, which is really, really good for Lamar. He's one of the best left tackles in the game right now. Signed him on a 3-year, $60 million contract. So I hate to say it, these are all pretty good moves for Lamar. I mean, Zay Flowers should come back, play really well. What's the receiver's name that kind of took off last year? Rashad Bateman. He played really well for them last year at the very end. And then DeAndre Hopkins is just going to be more of a layer to play in between those tight ends too. So
because because they got tight ends that can catch the ball. Well, sometimes.
Exactly. Well,
just one. So
I will not stand for this Mark Andrews slander. The guy
Your favorite. I know. I'm sorry. It's your
couple
favorite
drops
team.
last year, and everybody hates him.
a couple drops a game.
Just the one big one at the end of the year that mattered.
There was a big one that mattered. That was a
one
big
at the end of the year.
Yeah,
That's right.
I don't think I could make that catch, but
No.
I mean, you get paid millions of dollars to make the catch. It's right in the hands.
It happens.
Just saying.
It's fine. On to the next one. Bengals. Now, I know I think we talked about this before, but the T. Higgins situation. I don't know why they're not. It says that they intend to work with this 6-year pro towards a long-term deal this offseason. I mean, why haven't they? Any insight on that?
He'll be 42 by the time they sign into a long-term deal.
They just make me laugh because there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There's 9 players that they've signed that are not franchise tagged. They signed T. Higgins. They dragged their feet on Jamar Chase, who's arguably just going to cost more this year because of the Triple Crown season.
Yep.
And now they have to sign T. Higgins as well. Meanwhile, they're giving a guy like Mike Gesicki $25.5 million on a 3-year deal.
For 3 years. 3 years.
Yeah, they re-signed B.J. Hill, which B.J. Hill's a really good run stopper, but 3 years for $33 million for that is just. It's just funny because the whole stigma around the Bengals is like they don't pay their players. They're paying their players, just not the right ones.
No.
Yeah, they're paying the wrong ones.
Yeah, they're paying their what do you want to call them? Their value players at this point. Like Cody Ford being re-signed. He's a backup lineman, re-signed to a 2-year contract. I'm sure that was a cheap contract. At least I hope it was for them. But
I never know.
He's trash as well. He's tragically bad at the game of football. So,
I don't know. Jamar Chase is going to cost them $60 million per year for the next 8 years, and then he'll go off. He'll go to Kansas City, and then it'll be game over.
God.
That's exactly what's going to happen. He's going to go to Kansas City.
I hate that so
I get
much.
Andy Reid and his mustache already getting hints, and I think Jamar Chase will become free here soon, and they're gonna go get him.
But
it's gonna be a problem.
Like, there's 3 guys the Bengals should re-sign, and they haven't re-signed any of them. T. Higgins, Jamar Chase, and Trey Hendrickson.
Nope.
And none of them are on the roster for next year as of now, except for T. But pretty crazy.
Right.
Right.
And they're paying T $26.2 million this year.
Yep, that's the price of the tag. So
they just piss away money. It's crazy, man.
Yeah.
I love it. I couldn't be more excited.
Mismanagement at its finest. Speaking of mismanagement, let's talk about the Cleveland Browns.
Yes.
So,
well, you guys did pick up a Super Bowl winning quarterback, though.
We did, yeah. And then with all the drama,
Sure did.
with Myles Garrett, will he play? Will he sit out? He signed a 4-year extension.
No. The other drama of him saying, "It's not about the money. I care about winning." And what did he sign? 4-year, $123 million deal. Okay, yeah.
So I think he signed that.
That's right, guaranteed. So it was about the money then. It was not about winning a ring.
Hey, he's
it's unbelievable. 1,000%. But
with a no trade clause in there too.
The Lions could have paid him.
I would have loved that.
I mean, come on. The stars were lining up.
So there's been a lot of things going on with this Myles Garrett situation. So he came out at the end of the season saying, "I want to be involved in the future," and then he didn't like what the future, how it was laid out to him. So I'm not sure if it's really the money that has brought him back, or if it's truly
it's not Kenny Pickett.
No, it's not Kenny Pickett. Kenny Pickett's going to be. He's not going to start. At least he's not going to start the whole year. If he starts the whole year, I'll buy you both a coffee.
But he's not starting
a donut
and a pack of football cards. But
I want a box.
No.
I want a box. I want a blaster.
We're not doing.
We're in the football card.
Resign Jameis.
If Kenny Pickett starts All 17 games, I'll buy you both a blaster.
Yeah, I had to run from back there because I got the camera so far away from me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who's the football cards?
Yeah, I'll buy you both a blaster. So
I get to pick
Camo
the brand.
blaster. Yes. Yes.
So
All right.
Kenny Pickett and his small
Got some
hands are gonna
expensive
play
blasters out
football
there, bud.
in cold Cleveland. No, you don't get to pick. I pick. We're going to Target. You're getting
Fucking lame.
You're getting
You're
what's
gonna
there.
find anything. There's nothing at Target.
exactly.
You
You're gonna
actually
get what
aren't
they
gonna
get.
find
You're gonna get what they get, and that's it.
I do an ETB instead. I need some of that prismatic.
Yeah,
Pull
good
that
luck
in.
finding
Find that.
that. If you can find that, I mean,
Destin
you
Rivals will
found
be
the
out.
holy grail of treasure.
Destin Rivals will be out soon, so prismatic will be out there.
Maybe.
You're right.
Maybe.
No, not at
We'll
all.
see. But we also signed another edge rusher, Joe Tryon Shoyinka. No idea who this guy is. 1 year, 4.75 million deal with 4.19 guaranteed. So we're giving the guy guaranteed money. He must be decent.
He played for the Bucks last year. He played 15 games. Had 15 tackles, 9 assists.
It's good.
2
It's a
sacks.
tackle game.
I've seen more rumors like expect Kirk Cousins to be meeting with the Browns over this next week. Expect if Kirk
Now that
Cousins-
would get me excited.
if Kirk Cousins does get signed, I really think if Abdul Carter's there at 2, we'll go Abdul Carter. But
He's already said he's making up injuries. He's faking illness, so because he wants to play in Philly. He's an Eagles fan. He wants to drop, and then we pick him up.
he's not
We got rid of
drafted
Sweat
that
for a reason.
far.
Nobody thought Jalen Carter would drop that far either, by the way. And
Jalen
look where he
Carter-
ended up.
You picked him at 9.
Yeah, he should have. He should have went. He should have went top 3. I don't know. No, I'm just saying. Let Howie cook. He'll trade up with some poverty franchise, probably the Cleveland Browns or something, for pennies and a washing machine, and we'll pick up Abdul. That's it.
I mean, the phone line's already hot with Kenny Pickett going there, so maybe you're right.
It was funny. Sleeper hit that notification. It says Super Bowl winning quarterback got traded. And I was like, "Oh, we got rid of Hurts. Great. What is happening?" Nope, Kenny Pickett. I was like,
Kenny
"That's
Pickett.
That's-
Oh, yeah.
that's a bit of a stretch. That's a bit of a stretch."
That's clickbait right
It's
there,
true.
100%. If I've ever seen it.
I mean, it is true. It is true.
No, you guys are probably going to draft another quarterback
Yeah,
because why not?
just add it to the jersey.
Kenny Pickett is your backup.
There goes
because
Cam
Jameis
Ward.
is gone and DTR is now gone.
Yeah, DTR's gone.
Yeah.
Deshaun is eliminated from existence in my mind.
Yeah, he's
hate that guy.
he's got to be like
Rumor
done
is he's still dancing on that hill with his girlfriend.
I hope he
with
is.
no boot on.
I hope he's having a great time. And then I hope he just opens his bank account one day and it's all gone.
Anyway, so not your other favorite team though. Let's talk about the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah, this surprised me.
This also surprised me.
Talk about 2 alpha dominant diva receivers at 1 and 2. Someone's gonna bitch about not getting 12 targets a game.
I have a feeling George Pickens won't play for the Steelers next year.
Really?
I don't think he's
Oh,
going to
well,
play for the Steelers. I think he's going to go
lot of issues.
elsewhere. And I think that they brought in Metcalf because they're going to bring Russ back. They've got the chemistry. So
Is it
if
Could be.
because did he win the locker room when he was there?
for like 3 games he had the locker room,
It seemed like a little bit more.
he fumbled it
I'm-
pretty bad at the end.
Steelers
Yeah,
country. Let's
fumble,
ride.
Let's ride.
So I don't know. And then
I
they
mean-
signed Malik Harrison to a 2-year, $10 million deal as well. And Darnold
Yeah.
Parham, which is a massive tight end that they signed. He's a
He's
large
like
man.
6'8".
He's a big boy. I'll pull him up here. He's
6'8",
237. So
He's 7'4" in stiletto. So I mean, this guy's nuts. He's huge.
I remember he was supposed to be the next big tight end in what used to be San Diego. So
Yep.
for the Chargers. All right,
Yeah,
moving
kind of
on
a
to
surprise.
Oh, sorry.
No, I was just saying it's kind of surprising, but We'll see how it turns out. I mean, you might be on something, but I mean, if they can somehow, they could be best friends though, and then that chemistry could be kind of crazy. Two big physical, receivers could be a problem.
Well, maybe DK will teach him how to trash talk in ASL. It's DK's big thing. So
Instead of
I
fighting
did see
people.
that. So something about standing on business, and I was like, yeah, that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Big step off. I like it. I like it.
if the refs don't know what you're saying, then
I mean, true. He's kind
French,
of a
do
5-head
something.
play.
I don't know. The Houston
Someone's been active on
Texans.
this one. They've been very, very active.
Yes, they have.
They've been active and they've been losing offensive linemen left and right.
Yeah.
So I'm sure CJ Stroud's sweating a little bit down there, but they signed 3 receivers: Braxton Berrios,
I think
Christian Kirk, and Justin Watson.
one of those, Justin Watson, that's the guy that played with Kansas City, right? They drafted him.
Yep.
He's like a 6'5" receiver.
Mm-hmm.
Could be pretty decent. And we know the Texans have they've been riddled with injuries at receiver, right? The Christian Kirk thing, kind of excited for. I don't think he really got his shine over there. And Jacksonville, I think he was with Jacksonville.
Yeah, Jacksonville.
But I mean, you finally get a quarterback that can throw to him and knows how to spread. I mean, Nico's going to draw a lot of that attention.
Oh, yeah.
Tank Dell's going to be over there.
Yep.
I mean, this could be a perfect opportunity for Kirk to kind of rejuvenate his career there. I'm excited. Fantasy-wise, I'm kind of excited for that. I like that opportunity.
Yeah, I think it's a great addition, honestly. I mean, with Tank Dell being injured off and on quite a bit, they did lose Stephon Diggs as well. So that 1 year experiment did not really work out. But
he tore his ACL, I think,
Yep.
halfway through the season.
His ACL. So I think Christian Kirk could be a pretty decent 2, maybe 3 if Tank Dell comes back. He had a pretty gruesome injury too, though, didn't he? He tear an ACL again?
Yeah, I think he also tore an ACL.
Season, right?
Give me a second. I'll look it up.
It might have been that playoff game. But yeah, Texans, like you said, Fish, really active. Brought back Dara Gumbawale, really shoring up that running back room. Made some moves at D-line. Mario Edwards, Sheldon Rankins. Sheldon Rankins has been in the league for ever, and he's just been a journeyman. And then they also got your boy C.J. Gardner-Johnson. So
yeah,
CJGJ.
This one kind of hurts, and I've seen a lot of people comment like, "What are we doing? What's Howie doing?" Again, CJ is a very, very good ball player, but we also dropped him the last time. I think him and Slay, I think they run their mouths just a little too much. Very social media driven, both of them. Whether it's supposedly talking shit about the team or not believing in so and so, it's just look. You could be the best player in the world, but if you're canceling the locker room, we just don't need it, right? I mean, they really, Howie traded him, like you said, Nutter, before we started the podcast, fairly cheap. I mean, we patted back Ken Green as a first round pick, I think 15 or 13 or something like that a few years ago. I mean, yeah, he didn't work out with Tech Guru for offensive linemen, so it just adds more depth. We know Lane Johnson's getting old. A lot of these guys are starting to get older, so why not, do what we did, fill the trenches and then fill in the offensive line as well. So we already know how incredibly important those guys are. But exactly. I think CJ will do great here. Everybody check Twitter or X. I'm sure he'll comment on every little thing, and he'll start some shit with Nico or Tank Dell or something like that, which is going to be fun for him. But that's the player he is. He stands on business. I hate to bring it up again, but he stands on business. I think it was what DK did that thing, which is great. So it sucks, but this is what happens. It's the curse of winning a Super Bowl. You can't pay everybody, right?
Yep.
And unfortunately, some people take social media just a little too far, and sometimes we just don't need it. We got young guys back there, Sidney Brown and stuff, that we'll talk about later. So, but good signing for them. Great signing for them.
Well, the funny thing is, this trade went through today, I believe, or it got proposed today, accepted, the terms accepted, and he was streaming on Twitch when it happened. And I don't know if he was already streaming Madden or if he just fired up Madden to put it in the franchise trade calculator thing, but it was pretty funny to see. It was like very one-sided. He's like, why are we trading me for this? It was just kind of funny. I've never really seen a player do that before. So,
Fine.
yeah, I don't know. I hope that they draft some O-line help to get CJ Stroud some help there, because we know how worried he was holding the ball for a long time last year. He got sacked quite a bit, and it really impacted his play. So, all right, here's the moment we've all been waiting for. Indianapolis Colts.
Anthony Richardson is out, dude. Everybody sell.
Danny Dimes.
Daniel Jones, Danny Dimes, 1 year, $14 million deal. By the way, 13.15 is fully guaranteed. I like the move. I like it. I don't. It's not. I mean, I would love if he stayed with the Vikings. I know what they're doing, but this is again another opportunity where Danny Dimes is not. He's not Danny double ass. He has flashes in the pan. This is one thing where now is he's really in good competition with a young quarterback. You know, Anthony Richardson. We know that what he could do with his legs, but not so much his arm. Danny Dimes. No, don't forget that Danny Dimes can run. He's very good and actually very quick as a quarterback, running the ball as well. So, I mean, the way I see it is, I'm sure they're like, hey, now you got competition. Now you got to step up, Anthony Richardson. But I could see 3-4 games in, if Richardson sucks ass again and can't, complete 8% of his passes, I can see Danny Dimes stepping in and just feeding it to Jonathan Taylor. Now he's kind of got a running back and a decent receiving core. Maybe Michael Pittman gets a little bit more involved there. I'm sure he's a little taller than Malik Neighbors, so he should at least have 1 foot on the ground when he catches the ball. But it's not a bad move. It's not a bad move for the Colts. Again, that reassurance, that depth. The guy's played in for a long time. You never know. But there's another signing here. I think 2 of them really. Ward and then yeah. I like those. Those are good. Good defensive guys.
Yeah, they're really showing up the defense. Cameron Bynum was the guy from the Vikings last year that was in charge of all their celebrations. So, going to be interesting to see what he does with the Colts and the guy that does that "We Bleed Blue" theme song. So, it's going to be great to see. And that Javarius Ward played really well last year for the 49ers, which they're losing everyone at the current moment.
That's great.
So
that is fantastic.
And then Ashton Dillon got re-signed. He's showed some promise, but he's the 2-year, $8.5 million deal is probably about worth what he's worth. I think he's their wide receiver 4 at this point, if they retain everybody else. So, no, I think you're right though. I think Daniel Jones is a starter week 1 next year.
Yeah.
I think Anthony Richardson is done. I think his time in Indianapolis.
There's no way he's done. There's no way he's done.
I think he's done. He goes to the Broncos as the new Taysom Hill.
Can he catch the ball?
No idea.
It can't be a Taysom Hill because he sure as hell can't throw it, right? All you can do is run.
Taysom Hill can throw the ball, actually.
Yeah, he can spin.
Taysom Hill's good. I don't know. I don't think they're giving up on him already. If anything, they're not going to give up on him for a Danny Dimes. Now, does Danny Dimes eventually start next year? Yeah, I think so. I don't think it's going to be game 1. I think this is a good wake-up call. This is one of those things where it's like, hey, Richardson, goddamn, man, get glasses or laser vision, something. Learn how to throw it better, That's it. This is a wake-up call. I think Richardson will start the first 3-4 games, and if he's ass again, I think Danny Dimes steps in. But I don't think. I'll put a coffee on it. Yeah, I'll put a coffee on it. That Richardson starts the first 4 games. I'll give you the 4th game.
Okay, I'll gladly take that. That's 4 more
starts.
games than I would want.
Starts. I'm saying he starts. Now, if he's ass and he gets subbed at halftime, he still started the game.
True. I'll give you that.
Okay. So for Zoltowski, win ends on this?
No, I want to watch you two duke it out. I think it's more fun.
I just woke up from a nap. You there?
No, sorry, I was looking into because I remember seeing something that compared Anthony Richardson and Danny Dimes' PBRs.
Yeah.
for their passer ratings, and Daniel Jones was higher last year than Richardson.
Yeah, not surprised. A blind kid is higher than Anthony Richardson at this
That's why
point.
I can't believe you think
It's
he's going to start next year, man. He's
I think he starts. Look, they got him too high. He's a good ball player. He is. If he can get his accuracy up to 50% or 40 or 30, I don't know. It could be different. I think I have him on fantasy in like 2 leagues, so I'm like, please,
Please just do something. Help me.
somebody, please. I don't know, man. I think it's a wake up call. Back to your point, I think it's a wake up call. I think it's
definitely a wake up call for you.
okay. All right.
What do you think? What do you think Daniel Jones' biggest struggle was in New York? Both of you, I want your
not
opinion
having
on
an
this.
offensive line.
Getting yelled at by everyone. I honestly
Right.
think
look,
got the yips so much by the New York media. Dable will yell at you, man. He's just gonna scream and yell, and maybe he just doesn't respond well to that. And we've seen good things from Daniel Daniel Jones. Let's put some respect on his name.
No.
Daniel Jones.
No.
Look, Zoltowski, it's like, yeah, he can get yelled at. Also, sucks that he made that 0.1% of every athlete in the world to make it to the professionals, and then you absolutely finesse the Giants in a massive contract. I think the biggest thing that he struggled with. 100%. As he should. They did not treat him right, but him getting the snap, dropping 3 steps, and then looking up, going, okay, who's open? And then he's got 12 guys in his face. I think that repeatedly on every play.
Yeah, it didn't happen.
That was a problem.
Yeah,
you give him time.
I agree with you, and I say that the Colts O-line is better than the Giants O-line. So I'm
1,000%.
The Colts.
What week do you think he's going to start?
He said week 4.
Week 4.
I said week 4. I'll give him 4. I probably 3 games, but probably week 4 is when he'll eventually take over.
I don't know.
Yeah,
you want to know the bet?
I'm gonna go week 2. Fuck it. I'll jump in. I'll go week 2. He's gonna start.
The difference?
I'll split the difference. I think they'll give Anthony Richardson 1 game.
Okay. So you think so if Daniel Dimes steps in week 2, then you owe us coffee
for the Colts. Yeah, 100%.
All right, done deal. Where's Bosom? Oh, he's not. He's not here. I was gonna say I need a secretary for the coffee counter that I'm gonna win. It's crazy.
If I'm in Cleveland watching Kenny Pickett play football that day, I'll get you the next.
No, that's not how it works. I expect my coffee delivered over here where I currently reside at my doorstep.
Yeah, is that how we're doing?
At my doorstep. If you lose a bet, I expect, or there's gonna be interest.
Whatever. I don't even have
interest.
The extra shot of espresso per week.
I would actually love that. Yeah.
Don't have to worry about it at all.
Hazelnut, please. Hazelnut, sweetheart. I like hazelnut.
You and your hazelnut coffee. It's pretty good.
I love my hazelnut
coffee. I'll give
you that. Ooh, or a hot cocoa. Oh.
You ever had a frozen hot chocolate, though?
Nah,
I know it's a weird saying, but...
We're on a tangent right now.
It's fine.
Keep moving.
All right.
Jacksonville Jaguars.
Get back into it.
Who did they sign? Anybody?
They signed De'Ami Brown, formerly from...
That's a big one for them.
Yeah, the Washington Commanders.
Yep.
So,
Dallas.
1 year, 10-year, $10 million prove-it deal. They did sign quarterback Nick Mullins, 2-year, $6.5 million deal, which I thought was interesting. Because I think... Is Mac Jones still there?
Yes.
And then obviously Trevor Lawrence is still there, but we're not sure how bought in they are to him anymore, especially with the new regime. They did get some tackle help.
Mac Jones is no longer there.
Mac Jones is no longer there? Okay.
Where did he go?
I don't think he's signed anywhere yet.
He hasn't signed. They escorted him out of the building right as free agency started.
Jesus.
Well, he does have a temper problem, so yeah, I get that. I get that. Yeah, Mac going postal over there.
Security flanking him. They got some safety and cornerback help, Jordan Lewis, Eric Murray, so they're shoring up that little secondary there. But I don't know, man. Jacksonville, They've got a 14-year-old general manager now.
I
Coach
see that.
that's pretty interesting. To listen
Duval.
speak. So we'll see how they do. It's always interesting when completely overhauled teams start over, especially when they're supposed to have the quarterback already. So it's gonna be interesting to see if they stick with Trevor Lawrence. Maybe they'll move him throughout the year. I don't know.
I think they'll stick with him. I just feel like they need to, like, just get him more.
Yeah. Yeah, De'Ami Brown's gonna help, but other than
He's
him
quick.
and Brian Robinson Jr. or Brian Thompson Jr. Sorry, I'm not sure who else is there for them to throw the ball to, especially with Kirk.
It was Christian Kirk. Yep.
It's not anymore.
'Cause-
Nope.
yeah.
Tennessee Titans.
They've been pretty silent other than a couple big signings, but
Johnny Hecker. Big sign.
Johnny Hecker, huge deal.
Johnny Hecker.
They also re-signed Morgan Cox, their free agent long snapper there. So
Oh yeah, just huge.
pretty
Morgan Hill.
big signing there. Morgan Cox. COX.
I couldn't hear you. You're
Not
breaking
out
up
of
a
the
little.
gutter, man. It's crazy. They
Brother.
did sign a junior 4-year, $82 million contract worth $50 million guaranteed. So that's good for them. Probably end up filling that Taylor Lewan spot that they've been wanting to fill for a while. I did see that their rookie tackle from last year, was that JC Latham? Is that his name? Anyways, his more natural spot is right tackle. He played left tackle all last year, and they're finally kicking him back over with Dan Moore starting at the left tackle there. Cody Barton, they also signed 3-year, $20 million contract to for a linebacker position. So,
Who they taking number one?
I don't know. You think they're buying on Levi jeans, or are they going to go quarterback?
One more year.
Yeah.
If they buy in with Levi, they're going to go Abdul Carter first.
Yeah.
Abdul is the hot
Nope.
name right now.
He's dropping.
He's
The 32.
he's not dropping.
Actually, we'll drop to 33. We're trading up again.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't be upset if he
I
dropped
like
to
the
28.
Yeah, you guys.
But how he could.
He's not making it out of the first 4. I guarantee it.
No, they'll probably take him because they just need a little bit of everything.
I'll put another coffee on that one.
Not
We
confident
just-
on that one. Confident on the Anthony Richards one, though.
All right, Denver Broncos.
Denver Broncos.
Jarrett Stidham re-signed 2-year, $12 million deal. Good backup QB there. They did get a couple of the guys from the 49ers, Dre Greenlaw and Hufanga. They're a really good safety and linebacker there. Pretty interesting that the 49ers are letting so many people walk. I don't know if they're just waiting.
Well, they overloaded.
Yeah, that's true. Don't know if they're waiting
They-
on a big
They
contract
bought in
with,
for the first 3 years.
for Brock Purdy or not, but yeah,
Rumor is $40 million a year.
I mean,
Right.
he's got to reset the market. That's what all the new
Yeah,
quarterbacks.
reset the market, and then he's gonna throw to a high school kid. There's nobody to throw to.
Brandon Ayuk's still there for now. There's a lot of trade talks with
now,
him
yeah.
currently. So
Oh, and that
Yeah.
Ricky Pearsall that they had, the rookie,
True. Yeah.
he had a good season.
Ricky Rolex.
Ricky Rolex.
You know who's not there anymore though.
Debo
And
Samuel.
as we move on to the Kansas City Chiefs,
Oh, Elijah Mitchell.
well, but as we move on, Elijah Mitchell is no longer there, which honestly is great for him because he was going to get nothing unless
No.
1,000 people got hurt.
Yeah, he was hurt all last year, so I think he honestly would have stepped in before Jordan Mason, best running back in the league. But you're right; he's got to branch out from that system. They should be getting back CMC over there for the.
Yeah, that's just a
49ers.
solid running back core there.
Yeah,
I mean,
Mhm.
they all filled their holes really, really well.
Between
Like,
him,
CMC goes
Pacheco,
down.
and if Hunt comes back, then they've got a pretty solid running back room.
Oh,
They did re-sign Marquise Brown to a year deal worth 11. I don't think he really got his showcase. He was injured this past year as well.
No, I agree.
With Rasheed Rice coming back, Xavier Worthy looked great towards the end. I mean, that's again, they're building a quick receiving core with a better quarterback than what the Dolphins have. So, I mean, they could be a big fucking problem going into this coming year. I mean, especially with the chip on their shoulder, since
As
I think they
always.
lost, they got blown out in the Super Bowl. I think I don't know by who, but
Some said.
um,
yeah,
yeah.
no
So say
three-peat for them.
Travis is coming back to then propose at the halftime show. So he's coming back for another year. But a big one here on defense wise, Nick Bolton. I
Yep.
don't think he's recognized enough. 3-year deal on 45 million, 30 million guaranteed. That definitely shores up. I mean, he's a quick guy, great tackler, sideline to sideline kind of guy. So that definitely frees up a lot of space for them to kind of really customize their defense to what they want to do. So
Yeah.
big stuff there.
That and then the two offensive linemen that they franchise tagged Trey Smith and then brought in Jalen Moore. We all saw what happened in the Super Bowl. The Eagles had to rush 4. They got to Patrick all the time. He had no time at all to throw the ball. So they had to go out and get somebody to help protect their $500 million investment. And it looks
Crazy,
like
man.
they've taken 2 pretty good steps towards
So
that
much
so
money.
far. But yeah, the Nick Bolton and then the offensive tackle and offensive guard are the ones that really stuck out to me there. I guess Chris Fulton too, but the corner. We'll move on to the Raiders here, or as I've been hearing them call it on Twitter, the Las Vegas Seahawks. So I'm pretty sure they're going to change their team colors pretty soon. Shout out PFT. Geno Smith has been acquired in a trade from the Seahawks for a 2025 third-round pick. Zoltowski, I think you told me that that's the pick they got from
Devontae.
Devontae, right? Yeah. So,
Yep.
Yeah, pretty big there. Max Crosby, everybody was waiting to see where he was going to move away to. He also chased the money. It looks like 3-year extension worth $106 million with 91.5 guaranteed. So,
yep. He was the highest
Big
paid
chunk
non
of cash.
QB for about 20 minutes,
yeah,
I think.
Myles Garrett came in and said, I'm going to take my crown here, sir.
That is crazy.
Yeah, good for Pete Carroll down there. Gonna see what they do. Signed a lot of defensive players, which they needed very bad from last year. Their defense was
Yes.
very, very poor outside of Max Crosby last year.
Not good.
All right, so moving on to the Los Angeles Chargers. They
The
got
Judges.
Mr. 1,000-yard
Judges.
rusher himself, Najee Harris. He's no longer a Pittsburgh Steeler. That does kind of surprise me a little bit that they didn't exercise his 5th-year option last year, just because he had been so consistent for them, I feel like.
I just don't know if he matched their scheme. I think Najee is more catered towards the Chargers. You got to think what they did with every other running back that they've ever had, pass catching wise. I mean, this kind of frees up. Who's the running back that they have right now? Who popped off them?
For the Steelers,
What's his name? No, for Chargers.
J.K. Dobbins.
J.K. Dobbins.
This is going to
And
You're
Gus
going to have
Edwards back there, too.
that big back in there. Najee can catch the balls out of the backfield too. He reminds me, and we said this before, he reminds me of Le'Veon Bell play, right? He doesn't just immediately go for the hole. He waits, and then shoots.
Yeah.
I think this is a great, like you said, it's a 1-year deal on a $5 million contract. If it works, great. If it doesn't, it is what it is. But they're really just doing this to preserve J.K. Dobbins going forward. Because he did get hurt last year for a few games, so I think they're worried about that. So you get the bruiser back, you get someone that can drive it up there, and then you got J.K. Dobbins with his speed that just kind of go for it from there. So
Yeah. They did bring back Khalil Mack, which is good for them, especially losing Joey Bosa. Brought in some defensive help, so I think they're taking a step forward now. They just put up a gooser in the playoffs last year. Like, that team was so good the entire year, and then they lost it to the Texans because of 4 turnovers. So I think that game was a fluke, honestly. I think if they replayed that game 10 times, the Chargers would probably come out 7 of those 10. If
I agree with that.
if Beast Herbert doesn't throw 4 picks, which he didn't do all year, so
Yeah, that was
by them there. And
a
Gus
wild
Edwards
stat.
actually got released, I read. So
Oh, did he?
yeah,
He'll sign somewhere.
he'll sign somewhere.
Yeah.
But moving on to the NFC, we've got Fish's division coming up here. Why don't you take it away for them boys down there, Fishy?
Okay, talking about the Cowgirls. All right, let's talk about the Cowgirls here. So they've been fairly active so far. Nothing too crazy, nothing I'm not worried about. But an interesting signing, Javonte Williams, going on a 1 year. Again, this is a prove it deal. We know when he was with Denver, he had that rookie season. We all thought, okay, this kid might be the real deal. I mean, he showed explosiveness, everything like that. He showcased that he was the number one bell cow back. And then unfortunately tore his ACL and just has never been the same. Denver's got their own running backs now. They look great. This is an interesting signing. Rumor is they're supposed to go after Gent in the draft. He's been saying he wants to come play for Dallas. Everyone says that until,
They go play.
they tweet about it and they're like, yo, Dallas is straight ass. So
I can't see. The sun's too bright in my domed stadium.
There's all these weird holes in the locker room. What's going on here?
they're all about waist level. I don't know what it is. These guys are weird. But some of the other noticeable signings here, Osa signed him to a 4-year, $80 million contract, $58 million guaranteed. So beefing up that D line, which they have been known for in the past to be very, very good. And then just a plethora of, Solomon Thomas, CJ Goodwin, cornerback, safety, Marquise Bell. So just a lot of fillers until you get to the end here. Kick return, wide receiver. They did re-sign Turpin, which I think is a great signing for them.
Yeah.
That kid is fast. He is incredible. He could be a game-changing guy, especially on kickoffs or punt returns. We've seen him countless times catch it and then run for 45 yards and then really set them up. Dallas's offense was just that shit. They couldn't get anything else further. But they re-signed him to a 3-year, $18 million deal, which I think is fully deserved. So it kind of opens up that door, that realm of creativity for him within that offense too. So no news on Dak or any extensions or any rumors of getting a quarterback outside of Shadur, but not bad. They've been active, but not crazy. They're not going after the billion-dollar guys, signing everyone and their mother, overpaying. I think they're paying the guys the right way. So kudos to Dallas for now.
Well, the Cowboys haven't signed a free agent over $6 million per year in free agency since Greg Hardy in 2015.
From outside the team, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
like signed a free agent, not like restructuring deals or re-signing, current players.
And that still looks like it's holding true this year. So
yep.
Yeah.
Pretty
the salary
crazy.
cap has increased by 135,920,000 since then. So, and that deal that they signed that was over $6 million was mostly incentives, and the base salary was like 575,000.
Well, they got to pay Dak again. They're gonna extend him to a 3-year, $1 billion deal and equity in Dallas Cowboys. So
you can have stock in the team.
Yeah, this team's just crazy. So on to the Giants, right? Massive re-signing. Tommy Cutlets is coming back on a 1-year deal. They also, this is something that was kind of a little surprising. I think they really, really overpaid. This guy was great with the franchise. Darius Slayton re-signing on a 3-year deal. By the way, boys, 36. Can you see me? Am I close enough? 36 million. 36 million. For a 3-year deal for a guy that hasn't been relevant since the first season he was there. Very, very troublesome for that. Again, the Giants franchise, they're just throwing shit on the wall and seeing what sticks. Looking here, O-tackle, they did get another O-tackle agreed on a 2-year deal for $12 million, James Hudson, which I guess is good for them. Outside of that, they've been relatively, Javon Holland, their safety, they agreed to a 3-year, $45 million deal. Boys, I'm looking at this thing. I mean, is there anything Chauncey Golston, maybe? But outside of that, there's nothing. There's no big splashes. It
No.
looks like a lot of it is defense,
Yeah.
though. I mean, it's just
Two players really stand out to me, and I'm going to go ahead and tell you, James Hudson, ass, not good. He's been cut from the Browns. He's bad at the football game. He was a player we tried on a draft him out of Cincinnati, go UC. He just never panned out, and it's wild to me. He got 2 years, $12 million, and he's still in the league. That's honestly crazy to me. But
So is New York where you go to die in your football career now?
I don't know, man.
Instead of Cleveland, or is it like a mix?
You said James Hudson, and I thought to myself, "There's no way that's the same James Hudson." And I clicked on his picture; it's the same guy. So good for James Hudson and his agent. I mean, that's crazy that he got that money. The two names that really stick out to me here, Paulson Adebo. I'm not sure if I said his last name right, but more than that, Javon Holland. Javon Holland is one of the better free safeties in the game. They got him on what I think is a steal, 3 years, $45 million deal, including $30 million guaranteed. I mean, he is a ball hawk. He played for the Dolphins the first little stint in his career, and he's young. He's all over the field, man. He's a good young player. He's a little undersized, but he's
I mean, they're gonna need it for how often that defense is gonna be out there, because the offense is just, they got no offensive line. They got no. Have you heard this guy James Hudson?
James Hudson is the guy they brought in. It's crazy.
So two good signings though. Two good signings.
The biggest thing with the Giants right now is a name that hasn't even been signed yet, and that is Malik Neighbors and Aaron Rodgers are being linked to having good conversations right now.
I told you he was going to New York. I called this weeks ago, man.
I think you're right. I
called it weeks ago.
The quote is, the Giants have had great conversations with Aaron Rodgers. They believe wide receiver Malik Neighbors and him are really going to vibe if he signs.
Oh God!
Dude, he's smoking so much peyote. It's gonna be unreal.
He doesn't want to have to move again. You know, he doesn't have to go to a different stadium for games. He just changes jerseys, changes uniforms. He's got all his darkness retreat locations planned out already. He's not moving from New York.
Exactly. He's had the flights planned for weeks. He can't leave New York. But I think that's probably where he's going to go. Fish. The ELGLES Eagles.
Hang on, real quick on Aaron Rodgers. One thing. I just saw an article 15 minutes ago. Brett Favre is encouraging Aaron Rodgers to sign with the Minnesota Vikings.
Hey, you sent him a dick pic too, or what?
Jesus Christ. Oh, the
That
podcast
guy's
is
a
off the
clown.
rails.
Oh,
It's
my
off the
God.
rails.
Guy's a clown.
We're looking
That's
to
not
put that
place-
explicit tag on this one, boys.
Like, anybody wants to? It's just not the right guy to endorse somebody, right?
No, you're
You know?
completely right.
Yeah. You know? Maybe a new
Somebody
camera
else's
lens.
opinion.
I don't know.
Oh, jeez.
It's just guys out of pocket. But the Eagles, unfortunately, it happens to a lot of teams that win Super Bowls. You can't pay everybody. We talked about it earlier.
Yeah.
We did lose a good amount of players. Milton, Sweat, Slay, CJ. Again, I think with Vic Fangio and how he can do in the offseason, and I mean, we drafted very, very well the last 3 years. This year we could draft well again. Now we're having the younger guys start, and we're not paying these guys that are starting to get old. We're not paying them $1 billion to then just let the Sidney Browns, the Dejon Mustard sit there and only play a small stint of the season, right? Wasting their career. So I know in Philly there's a lot of panic. Everybody's questioning shit. But some of the key signings here, DTR, not a key signing, but is a player type like a Jalen Hurts would match the scheme. Kenny Pickett was not the guy to match the scheme. I'm okay with that. We traded him. I mean, he's got average size hands, which honestly is all we could ask for nowadays. The biggest signing, the 2-year extension to arguably the best running back possibly to ever play. I might be a little biased, but it is pretty close. we extended Saquon 2 years, 41 million, 36 guaranteed, and 15 more in incentives. I think is fully warranted and accepted. No questions, no turnarounds. Absolutely pay that man. He's earned it. We talked about this guy, Kenyon Green, earlier. Got him from the Texans. First overall pick a few years ago. Again, didn't really work out, but that's okay because Jeff Stoutland's over here with us. We know what he can do with the offensive line. I'm not worried about it, especially with Lane Johnson getting older and some of these guys, how we rotate them in and out. We saw Landon Dickerson play left guard, right guard, center. I might have maybe a running back at one point. With how flexible and volatile we've used a lot of these guys, Kenyon Green will just be another big body that will get him adequated to his first round talent that he got drafted. And then arguably one of the biggest signings for us, again, fully deserved, Zach Bond, re-signed. We finally locked up a linebacker that knows what they're doing, can tackle. 3 years, 51 million, 34 million guaranteed. Shut the books. The guy played great. He's earned it. Big key contributor with him and Dean over there at the helm on the defense. I mean, this guy is all over the place for him being, 27 or something like that? Absolutely no question. He played like he was 23. So sign him. Him and Dean, once Dean comes back from his injury, will be great. Very excited to see what we got going on. And, of course, we had the draft to see where we can fill in. So lot of good thing. I think we got a lot of those bigger contracts, those older aging players that were still good, but we dumped them to have that young talent come in to then build that dynasty. So we'll see what happens. So
no, the Zach Bond thing did come across my phone the other day, and I looked at it for a minute and I was like, wow, that's a lot of money. And then I remembered how good he was throughout the stretch there. I was like, no, that's pretty adequately priced. So I think that's probably your best signing. I don't hear what I'm not saying. Saquon, obviously great, but he is aging. It's a lot of money for aging running back, but I'm sure Saquon, since he's missed a couple of years, he'll still perform pretty well for those 2-year extension there.
He's also got one of the best offensive lines. So I mean, we prolonged his career by a couple of years too. So
Poetry
not crazy
buy
word.
the shirt. It's on GameTimeGents.com.
Nice, dude. Throwing it out there, man. The next team in the division, the last team, the Commanders, I think have done insanely well with their pickups. Re-signing Jeremy McNichols to a 1-year deal. They picked up Deebo Samuels. Now it is the aging Deebo, but again gives Jaden Daniels, dynamic Daniels, another weapon. We know that Deebo is very tough to bring down. We saw it 1,000 times for the 49ers, except for the last couple of years. They re-signed 2 tight ends. John Bates, 3-year, $21 million deal, which that's kind of crazy. But we all know that Zach Ertz, who they also re-signed to a 1-year deal, is hitting that gap, that age gap of, okay, I think it's time to call it quits. John Bates seems, we've seen him play last year, seemed to do very well as well. So kind of filling in that role. One of the big things I think that they did and signed very, very well, Laramie Tunsil, really beefing up that O-line. I think got him for kind of a steal. Acquired a trade with the Texans along with a 4th-round pick in exchange for a 3rd and a 7th in 25, and then a 2nd and a 4th in 26. Laramie Tunsil was great in college. I know he had the gas mask on, smoking weed on camera. I'm sure that put a bad taste in everybody's mouth. But I mean, the Commanders are doing great things. D-line wise, Javon Kinlaw signed to a 3-year, $45 million deal. Bobby Wagner, that guy is 1,000 years old, but can still tackle and hit like a Mack truck. Re-signed him to a 1-year deal. I mean, I'm looking here. Will Harris, 2-year deal. Zane Gonzalez signs a deal as well. And Tress Way. They're filling in the gaps, the very small, minimal gaps that they had. They're filling them in with the appropriate players. And it makes me worried. It really does. So, but them next to the Eagles are doing incredible things and leading this division here, that's for sure.
Now, they did lose Jonathan Allen, which is a big part of that defensive line. But I think Javon Kinlaw is probably pretty well going to step in there. Laramie Tunsil, you're right. He's still very good. He's not as good as he used to be, but when they made this trade, what's his name? The really good defensive end for the Cowboys,
Micah.
Micah Parsons. He quote tweeted it and he said, "WTF?" He said, "What the hell? What the fuck?" So it was pretty funny. He still gets a lot of respect in the league. So even though he's turning 30, I'm sure he'll be pretty good there for Dynamic Daniels, like you said there, Fish.
Mm-hmm.
All right, now we get into Zoltowski's division.
Love this division.
Love this division.
It's a scary division.
It's scary.
And then the Packers are in it.
The Bears have been doing some.
The Bears have been
really good
making some moves. The big one that sticks out to me is Joe Thuney from the Chiefs.
Yeah.
For a 4th round pick. That was one thing. And Jonah Jackson from the Rams for a 6th round pick. Caleb struggled last year, most sacked quarterback in the league.
Yeah.
Beefing up that O-line. Yeah, giving him that protection that he needs because he had a good season minus the sacks. It's like we talked about with Daniel Jones. He had about 3 seconds to throw the ball, and they were just in the backfield. So those are the two big ones that really stand out to me.
Yeah, he took care of the ball last year. Like you said, the biggest issue was his issue with having time.
Yep.
And I mean, Jonah Jackson, Drew Dahlman, they're not barn burners, I don't think by any means, but Joe Thuney, he's been in the league for a long, long time. I think he's probably still got some left in the tank. Now, he did not play well against the Eagles, but he was out of his natural position. He's a guard. They were asking him to play left tackle all last year because of an injury. So good to see Joe Thuney getting another chance in the league, and I think he's going to really help the rest of that young offensive line.
Yep.
Come along. Can't really put a
Thank
price
God knows
on
they need it.
experience either, especially at the offensive line position. They did sign Grady Jarrett as well, which is really big for them. The Bears have always had the scary defense. So
yeah, they had a strong defense last year. So
right, they're investing a little bit more into that with him and Deo Odegingbo, I think is how you say his name. I think he played, I believe he played for the Colts last year, right? Yeah.
Yep.
So
31 combined tackles.
Yeah. So
3 sacks. So I mean, it's just strong. Already a strong defense. Just getting some extra pieces there. Curious to see how they draft. What direction they go in. Ben Johnson, especially with dealing with the Lions organization and seeing how they drafted, because we drafted really well also past couple of years. Because I remember when we drafted Gibbs, everyone was like, why the hell are you taking him so high? And then,
Exactly,
now we have this 2-headed monster back there.
Did you guys have Swift at that point? Or did you have Monty yet?
We didn't. I don't think we had Monty yet.
I thought you had Monty. I thought that was a big discrepancy on why you guys picked up Gibbs.
That might have been why. Because we got rid of Swift.
Okay.
Yeah, we got rid of Swift after the 22 season.
Okay, yeah.
Because he was with the Eagles in 23. Because I remember being bummed that he went to the Eagles because he didn't have like a terrible year. And then now he's with the Bears, obviously.
Yeah. So
yeah, excited to see what they do in the draft and any more moves that they might make. But new head coach, maybe that was the problem all along. The NFC North could be a scary division next year.
Still that timeout left.
Yeah. So and then on to my Lions here. We've been quiet, filling some defensive holes. I know we got rid of Zadarius Smith, which is, it sucks, but it's like, he was okay. We did re-sign Marcus Davenport. When Hutch was out there, I don't remember hearing him a bunch. Derek Barnes, I'm excited about that one. He got hurt against the Cardinals week 3. He's got a fire under him because we promoted his position coach to the defensive coordinator. That was one of the reasons he wants to stay. So I think that's a good sign there. And then we picked up DJ Reed from the Jets.
Yep.
is
DJ
where he
Reed.
was last year, and always talked about how scary that Jets defense was supposed to be. But I mean, we need cornerbacks, especially now that Melifonte went to the talked about him already. The Dolphins.
Yeah.
So just filling some more holes back there, strengthening that secondary up. D line linebacker looking pretty good, but I'd like to maybe see them get another strong edge on the opposite side of the ball too. Because if you just had two edges out there tearing it up, I mean, with Hutch being what he is, you can't double team both sides of the ball. So then your D tackles and linebackers are coming in free. But I know Aaron Glenn's not there, so we'll see. There's a lot of changes, but I think it'll be a good year.
Yeah, I agree. DJ Reed is really big for you guys. He's a pretty good corner. Him with Terrion Arnold, I think that's going to really help your pass defense quite a bit.
Yeah, because Terrion he struggled with penalties in the beginning of the year, but after a while, I think getting adjusted to the league, because rookie starter, he had a pretty solid second half of the season. So
yeah, and then we'll move on here to the Packers. The Packers, their biggest signing is Aaron Banks, offensive guard, agreed to a 4-year, $77 million deal. But other than that, they've been pretty quiet. Other than signing Nate Hobbs from the Las Vegas Raiders last year. Yeah, Aaron Banks is another 49er that has left that team. So there's
you got a 49er counter?
I mean, dude, we need one. I wish we could. Is there a list like this for the teams or the players that teams have lost?
There has to
teams
be.
that players have lost. I'm scrolling back up to see if that's another tab here. We're using NFL.com currently, so yeah, team by team departures. There is one. I just want to take a peek at the Niners real quick.
Take a peek.
Taking a peek, dude.
Scroll all the way up. Hang on.
Yeah, you guys go ahead and keep talking if you
want.
We could jump to the Vikings.
We could jump to the Vikings.
Jump to the Vikings.
Who got rid of their Lord and Savior, Sam Darnold.
Sam Darnold was gone. He got paid.
Yep, he did get paid. But exciting to see if JJ is going to start, if they're going to pick someone up. I've seen rumors of Kirk going back to Minnesota. I don't think that's going to happen. Obviously, I mentioned it earlier with Favre telling Rodgers to go to Minnesota. Who knows? I know we talked about the pictures we saw of JJ throughout the year. Like at the beginning of the year, he was all like bright, starry-eyed. Now he looks like a villain in his villain arc.
Yeah,
because he got hurt and was out all year. Aaron Jones getting re-signed, 2-year, $20 million deal. I think that's a great move for them. He was a solid back. I know he got hurt a couple times last year.
Some of the other notable signings, though, I mean, offensive-wise, we knew that them going. I mean, we saw Sam Darnold. I mean, they got hot quick early on, and then they started kind of fizzling out. People kind of realized what Sam Darnold was about. They rushed and blitzed him a lot. They signed an offensive guard, Will Fries, to a 5-year, $88 million deal, and then our old alumni alma mater nut, Ryan Kelly, center, played with Lakota West. Not played with them for a while. We went to school with him. Pretty cool, but 2-year, $18 million deal there. He was great. He was great with the Colts. Big body in there, knew exactly what he was doing. So really shoring up that O-line there. And then we did just talk about the Commanders getting rid of Jonathan Allen, who then signs with the Minnesota Vikings, who already had a very potent defense. So, I mean, they've signed Jonathan Allen, 3 years, $51 million. Byron Murphy to a 3-year, $54 million. Theo Jackson, 2-year, $12 million. Again, they're just reassuring that dangerous defense that they had and have been known for the last few years. So, I mean, those are all good signings. Biggest question mark is, do they pick up a quarterback or do they roll with JJ? Do they feel comfortable with him? So,
well, they let 3 walk. So, Sam Darnold's gone, Daniel Jones is gone, Nick Mullins is gone. So, JJ's the only one there right now. So, do they bring in Aaron Rodgers?
No, I think JJ's their guy. You know, he didn't get a chance to do anything last year, but he did have that chance to sit back and learn like we talk about all the time, throwing those rookie quarterbacks in, we see what it does to them. You get those rare diamond in the roughs. But the NFL is a completely different atmosphere than college. Different playbooks, different
100%.
different speed, different strength. I think him having that year, as unfortunate as it was good for him. He didn't have to jump right into it, didn't have to crack under pressure. I think they're going to stay with him. And probably bring in maybe an older guy to back him up that he can, dude
would be great with him.
Yeah. Jameis would be great anywhere, honestly. Yeah. I'm surprised you guys let him walk. I know he's had his I know he's had his struggles, but just the atmosphere that he brings with him, that positivity, that's the kind of guy you need in the locker room too.
Yeah.
Even if he's a backup quarterback, even if he's, a backup running back or someone that can, try to light a fire under your ass and get that team going. But yeah, that's a good shout actually. Yeah. But I think they're sticking with JJ. I put a coffee on it.
I mean,
I think I'll start week 1.
I'm not taking that bet because I agree with you. I think you're right. So maybe we'll just go get coffee together or something. I don't know.
I'm in.
Quick anecdote about Ryan Kelly real quick. Fish mentioned we played high school ball with him. So he was a year under us. He graduated in 2011. We graduated in 2010. I blew out my knee junior year of high school. Missed that entire season. Came back senior year. Completely switched positions. I just went defensive line because I wanted to play D-line for the first time in my life. And I was actually always lined up on scout team against Ryan. I was nose tackle. He was center. And Ryan knew how much struggles I've had with my knee over that last course of the year. So it was funny. Anytime we lined up, the quarterback would be going through the cadence, and Ryan would always whisper to me as we're in our stances. He goes, "Hey, I'm supposed to cut block you this play, just so you know." So that's the kind of guy Ryan Kelly is. He's always looking
good guy looking out.
So shout out Ryan. I'm happy again. You've gotten paid. You've gotten, the money you deserve. And again, I'm still waiting for my cut for all that senior year scout team I helped you with there. So waiting for that check. No, just kidding.
Unbelievable.
Moving on to the NFC South, we got the Atlanta Falcons first. The biggest re-signing is Jake Matthews. Now, I know he's aging, but he comes from a football family. Clay Matthews is nephew or son, one of the two. I think it's his... No, I don't know. Nephew or son, but we know about the Clay Matthews family.
Gotta be nephew. Doesn't have the hair.
It has to be nephew.
Yeah. And Clay Matthews Jr., we know how good he was in the league as well. But you're right. I think Fish, you're about to say they've been pretty quiet, but...
They've been pretty quiet. Jake Matz is the only real standout there that they've signed. They've signed three defensive players, but nothing.
Yeah,
nothing.
Devon Diablo could be really good. He played for the Raiders last year. He was a safety in college that they moved to a Mike linebacker position. So similar vibes to Fred Warner now he's not as good as Fred Warner, but similar vibes. He played safety in college, and they moved him to the linebacker position in the pros. I think a lot of more teams are going to start doing that just to help cover the tight end position better, but Devon Diablo, pretty good, flies to the ball. So I think that's a really good signing for them in the middle of that defense there. And then Leonard Floyd as well.
And they're starting Michael Penix.
They're bought in.
They're bought in.
Good. Played well.
Yeah, he did.
I believe they're going to either trade away or release Kirk Cousins. So
I think he's already gone, if I'm not mistaken.
Is he gone?
That's a lot of money they're eating up.
Yeah, he wasn't on their players that they've gotten rid of yet. So
I thought he was only on a 1-year deal though.
It's on a 4-year deal
for
like 120 million.
Okay.
But on to the Panthers. Panthers have been making some moves here.
Yeah.
Re-signed Andy Dalton, which I think is good. He's not going to play unless they do the same bullshit they did last year. But again, that veteran back there can train, coach up. Bryce Young there. So Tommy Tremble, good re-signing there on a 2-year deal on $16 million, $8 million guaranteed. As we scroll down, I did notice one name in particular that's a very, very good signing for them on the defensive side of the ball. Jace Horn got paid. 4-year
Yep.
extension, $100 million, $70 million guaranteed. For a franchise that's was a rebuilding offensively, I think they found their running backs. They found their quarterback. They've got a really good receiving core now. The things were in motion. Now they just locked up the cornerback spot. The cornerback won. So then they also agreed to terms with Mike Jackson through a free agent deal. Again, giving that depth as well. So safety Trevon Moehrig, 3-year, $51 million deal. So again, they're targeting their defense, which towards the end of the year played better, but were blown out early on. So doing very, very well. Nut, Zoltowski, and other names over here that speak out to you guys. I mean, they've been very, very active so far this season.
No, J.C. Horn, you're
No.
right. He
Yep.
was drafted there. He's been pretty locked down for them. Been probably the biggest bright spot of the Panthers team, except for, Chuba Hubbard last year. But he is the son of Joe Horn, former star wide receiver. So he really got the athletic ability there. He's just locked down. So it's good that they locked him up for the long term, the 4-year extension. That's a lot of money for a corner, but if you got a guy like J.C. Horn, then you got to lock him up.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
All right, moving on to the New Orleans Aints.
No would be mad about that.
No, would be mad about that.
Be very mad.
But they
Nothing.
Been pretty quiet. They did re-sign Chase Young, which is the biggest signing that they have there. Really interesting. Chase Young has just moved around so much. I know college he was the guy at Ohio State. I'm sure Zoltowski, you remember him there, but yeah, pretty quiet
I do.
out of the Saints this year.
Which the Juwan Johnson re-signing on a 3-year, $30 million deal seems a little excessive for how little they use him.
Yeah.
At the tight end position, I mean, you're guaranteed to see him at least once or twice a year pop off for 3 touchdowns and 100 yards. You're like, who is this guy? He's been in the league for a little bit, and then all of a sudden, you're like, yeah, we'll go ahead and play him next week, and they just don't utilize him. So, to me, this is saying, okay, we understand Johnson's the guy. We're going to use him as tight end 1. We're not going to play any games. We're going to go for it. We're going to make him a focal point of the offense. So, it would be outrageous to not play or utilize the guy that you just signed to a $30 million deal. So fantasy wise, just giving you guys a little heads up, might be he's probably out there. Might be a little late pickup on that, depending on who's throwing, of course. But yeah, I mean, relatively silent. So
do we think the Saints maybe thought he was Jawan Jennings?
maybe,
Is that possible?
Possibly.
'Cause
possibly.
I don't know, man.
I like to have my name change and sign $1 billion contract and be like, oh, that's the wrong guy. Crazy.
Well,
So,
already signed a contract.
but yeah, they've been relatively signed. Justin Reed, 3-year, $31 million as a safety.
Yeah.
I think they've got a lot more issues
Yep.
and holes to fix. So hopefully they can draft well. No, hopefully you guys aren't shit, but kind of trending that way. So you never know.
I think, is the Honey Badger still there? I think he is.
He still plays.
Got a couple good safeties. Yeah, he's still pretty decent.
That's crazy.
From what I remember.
Okay.
Tyrann Mathieu. All right, go on to the Buccaneers here, the last team in the NFC South. Really re-signed some old dudes. I mean, Chris Godwin re-signed 3-year, $66 million deal. Really going to help shore up that wide receiver room. They did let Sterling Shepard go, so fantasy-wise, Jalen McMillan, I think he's going to take a huge step forward.
Yep.
I mean, he already did last year, but, really pay attention to him. Chris Godwin may have a slow start coming back from that. Was it a knee, an Achilles? Forget exactly what he hurt, but
Something.
lingering injuries like that.
In his leg.
Yeah. And then Levante David, we know him. He's been in the league for a long time. Re-signed him on a 1-year deal, $10 million, and then Hassan Reddick as well. He's been in the league for a while. Signed him to a
Well,
1-year, $14 million deal with 12
well, he
million
has.
guaranteed.
He didn't play. I'm glad to see. I'm glad to see him retire the kimono though. He hung it up to come play football again, which is great to see.
Not
So,
in Japan anymore.
yeah, it's really good to see him not in the wooden shoes. So, um, yeah, I don't know. It could be that could have more of a negative effect than a positive effect. Like Hassan Reddick was great when he played. Something got rocked, and he's a little bit of a basket case. So I don't know. And then the occasional punter, Riley Dixon, 2 years, $6 million. Congrats there, man. It's
Love
great.
seeing a punter get paid. Best thing
And
in the
there's been
world.
a lot. I'm
Yeah.
looking through this list. There has been a few punters getting paid.
Best
So
thing in the world. Punters getting paid.
I miss watching Pat McAfee punt the ball. I miss that.
You
I
can
love seeing
catch
his highlights.
Pat McAfee on Monday nights on Netflix.
is he a sponsor all of a sudden?
No,
we
he's
getting
on
paid for that?
Raw.
Commentating Monday Night Raw. Here we go.
Raw what? What's Raw?
The wrestling.
Incognito. Oh, okay.
Oh,
Got it. Wrestling's so stupid. So dumb.
All right.
NFC
Last
West.
division.
Last
What was
division.
that joke you just made?
Cardinals.
The big one, Fish. Talk about it.
The big
Went
one.
for the Cardinals.
Jacoby Brissett. The biscuit. The brisket. Oh shit. Sorry. Josh Sweat. JK. Josh Sweat.
JK.
Look, got his ring. We expected him to chase the money. He chased the money. 4-year contract. 76.4 million. Contract, 41 million guaranteed. He's gonna tear it up there, but we can't pay Bond, him, and 1,000 other people, so it is what it is. But again, they've been relatively quiet as well. Doesn't say. I mean, they signed Zay Jones, Jacoby Brissett,
Jacoby's
Evan
good for him, I
Brown.
think.
Yeah, I mean, he's great. He's a great guy. He's great.
Months of October to the end of the year.
Yeah, when COD comes out. Yeah, but again, been pretty silent so far this year. Outside of the Josh Sweat signing, which kind of came out of nowhere. But it is what it is. So, Cardinals, but the Rams on the other hand have been making some splashes. They signed arguably the best looking quarterback ever to play in the world, Jimmy Garoppolo, who is still collecting checks. This guy's been asked for years, and this man just keeps collecting with his stunning good luck. So I don't understand this shit.
He looks good holding the clipboard.
It really does. He looks great. Matthew Stafford, they restructured his contract, which is great. So he'll be back. A big signing, which unfortunately means that Cooper Kupp is probably gone. Unless they can work out some type of deal to get Kupp, Puka, and Devontae Adams all in the same quarterback or same receiving core would absolutely be disgusting. But I think this is an upgrade for them. Smith or Adams still has a lot left in the tank. He didn't really play that much last year. He did, but not to his ability. I think we know how Stafford is. He's going to feed Puka. Now he's got Devontae Adams as well, who, knock on wood, doesn't really get hurt that often. It's just another huge weapon. They re-signed Tutu Atwell again, that quick wide receiver 3 that they have for a 1-year, $10 million deal. Outside of that, O-tackle, Alaric Jackson, 3-year, $57 million, $35 guaranteed. And then Poona Ford, 3-year, $29.6 million deal on the defensive line. So again, battling in the trenches, they got Verse, they got a bunch of guys in there. They've done very, very well. So big moves for the Rams.
Poona Ford's a big signing for them. He's going to help when Braden Fisk needs a breather there. So that's a really good signing for them, helping out that young defensive line there. All right, now we got the 49ers, the team of destiny here.
They've lost everyone, and they've signed nothing.
Nobody.
While we were going through, 26 free agents gone.
Oh my God!
There's 53 players on a team.
That's
no
almost,
way.
That's nuts.
And also, additionally to that, 8 of those are in the trenches. So you've got 4 offensive linemen, 4 defensive linemen, and then you also have an edge rusher in Leonard Floyd. Fish.
Just a quick question. So, I guess a statement, a little. So they've lost 8 guys in the trenches, right? That's what you said.
Yep.
Okay, you go ahead and take a guess on how many they just signed.
They've
They
signed one.
is this thing on? No one. Oh, have they signed one?
Yep, Ben Barch, 1-year extension.
That guy snuck in there. I didn't see him. I've never heard of him. Never heard of the guy.
But,
Never heard of the guy.
Never
So
heard of him.
yeah, they've been quiet. I mean,
Marcus Robinson is not going to be a game changer, but it's a name that we have all heard. Patrick Taylor, he had that one game where he did really well. Outside of that, Luke Guilford, Luke Farrell, they love the guy named Luke. Richie Grant, Luke Wilson.
Richie Grant is the first player I've ever seen with $200,000 guaranteed.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
shit's on Grant. That's
So-
wild. That's abysmal
Good
for the
Richie
49ers.
Grant. Good for him.
It's $200K I don't have.
That's true, man. That's
Yeah.
money I don't have in my pocket. All right, and then
Last-
the last team, the Seattle Seahawks. Fish, take it away.
We all thought Sam Darnold losing last year in the playoffs pretty bad. We knew that he wasn't going to get that 5-year maxed out big fat money contract, but he did get paid, and we are very, very happy to see it.
Yep.
Sam Darnold is signing. Unfortunately, I figured that Sam Howell would take over the reins, but maybe not yet. Sam Howell, but no, Sam Darnold stepped in on a 3-year, $100.5 million deal, $55 million guaranteed, 37.5 of it being in the first year. So look, it just proves, and I think we proved our point where you can't start these guys right off the rip. They get drafted as shitty teams. They play shitty. Everybody thinks it's them. Then you get a guy like Sam Darnold who goes into a system that works for him, has receivers, a good offensive line, a good defense, and now look at him. Man finally gets paid what he deserved. Now is he going to carry the Seahawks through anything? I don't know. Who gives a shit? A guy that was drafted on a shitty team, everybody gave up on him, finally got paid because of what he did. Kudos to you, Sam Darnold. I was hoping it was Sam Howell, but whatever.
He's got no
Wrong
one
Sam.
to throw to except for Jackson Smith and Jigba.
Honestly, based off of what he did last year, might be all he needs. So
Yeah.
I expect the Seahawks will get a receiver or two in the draft and kind of make that work there. But another noticeable signing here, Ernest Jones. Anyone that plays fantasy,
Yep.
You might have seen people add him real quickly and then drop him a few weeks later and then add him back again. He does go on a little bit of a hot streak of popping off for 15 to 20 points and then get 6 or 7. Everybody's like, the hell with that guy. He's done. Re-signed him to the 3-year, $33 million deal. $15 million guaranteed at the linebacker spot. I think that is very, very good for the Seahawks. He is in control and command on that defense as well. So definitely reassures that. Jaron Reed on a 3-year deal. In the trenches, we love the trenches. We talk about the trenches. We're loving the trenches. $25 million deal for them. So again, beefing up that defense, which we knew was good. It's not like the old Seahawks with Cam Chancellor and all them back there. But this defense is not to be slept on. They are good. They just need to get everything going. It looks like they have a good quarterback. Geno Smith was great, but it was not that game changer quarterback. Sam Darnold could be, showcased it with the Vikings. You never know. Just don't get them to the playoffs. So, it is what it is.
No, I think you summed it up perfectly there. I mean, Sam Darnold, I'm a little nervous for him. Kevin O'Connell is kind of a quarterback whisperer, so going to be interesting to see if Sam can continue that success he had last year, especially not having the receiving options he had last year. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see Sam Darnold, the face of another franchise. So
I think that was the biggest surprise for me so far,
yeah,
was Sam Darnold going to the Seahawks. I really thought Minnesota would keep him.
I thought they'd
Because he was-
tag him.
Yeah. I mean, he's been in that. He performed well in that system. He had a good year. I know you got, as much as I want to see JJ start, I don't really want to see him start if he does well, honestly. Don't want him to kick the shit out of the lines.
Yeah.
But, after the success that he had this year, it was a 14-win season, first 14-win wild card team ever. That
Crazy.
sparked a ton of talks about changing the seeding format in the NFL playoffs. But it's weird to see him go. I mean, maybe he was chasing the money.
As he should.
He
should.
finally got it.
As he should. So it's not that 5-year, $900 billion deal, but I guess $100 million is okay. So yeah, whatever.
A lot of money.
All right, now we're going to talk about a couple free agents that have not been signed yet. Two receivers that stick out to me right now is Amari Cooper, Stephon Diggs. They're both 31 years old. I mean, they'll probably get signed somewhere. Do you guys think that anyone's going to take a chance on either of these two guys?
I think it'll be a late signing. I think once, I mean, it's been a hell of a free agency so far.
Yep.
I think once everything kind of simmers down a little bit, they got enough talent. And again, you look at the opportunity of, they're both aging. Amari Cooper is an incredible route runner. Who's the other guy you said? Who was it? What was his name?
Stephon
Diggs.
Yeah.
Diggs. Outside of him being a diva, I would probably go Amari Cooper. But I mean, you could bring those guys in on a vet min, but you got to make sure that they understand. Hey, you're here, you'll play, but you're here to train the young guys and coach them.
Yeah.
I can see that happening, but that won't happen until later. Hopefully, I'm wrong. Hopefully, they get drafted or picked up by a team and they slide right into where they've been the last 10, 20 years. But at this point, they're late in their career. If nobody's picked them up right now, it's either they want too much money, they have too much drama, or they can't comprehend the fact that they're 30, 31. It's time to train the young guys to be the next me. Let me mentor, and they can't break out of that funk. So,
yeah,
I expect them signing late. That's it.
I think that they'll be 1 year prove it deals, kind of like DeAndre Hopkins signed.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
I think you're right. The name that sticks out the most to me here on this list, and it's just the list of available free agents on NFL.com as of the time we're recording this. Asante Samuel Jr. is still out there. He's age 25. Really played well for the Chargers while he was there his first 4 years. I think he could be a big signing somewhere, especially for a team that needs young corner help. So I think he will probably be the hottest name going forward just because of how young he is and how good he turned out to be for the Chargers. I'm kind of surprised they didn't bring him back, but money
His
talks.
dad was incredible.
His dad was incredible. Yeah. A couple more names, some old guys. DeMarcus Lawrence is out there. Kevin Zeitler, who's been all over the league, it seems like. Calais Campbell still playing at 39.
Even Evan Ingram.
Yep.
It's kind of surprising they cut him.
Evan Ingram's out there. Mekhi Becton, I'm surprised you guys haven't brought him back yet. We'll see.
We're working on it.
We'll see if you do. I mean, that's a giant tackle.
As a giant man.
Sorry,
giant man.
Guard for the Philadelphia Eagles. But, yeah, I think this is I didn't realize JK was a free agent.
I was literally going to say that, yeah. So
did I.
Okay. Damn, so we'll go back
and
make it.
Is much bigger than we thought it was.
Yeah.
And then Rico Dowdle's also a free agent. I didn't realize that. So
that's a shame.
A lot of players out there still looking for homes. I think a lot of these young guys will be signed. As for the older dudes, I'm not really sure unless they need some veteran leadership. So
Kenneth Gainwell. Kenneth Gainwell.
Yeah, Kenny Gainwell's out
You guys
there.
will re-sign him, don't worry.
Nah, Will Shipley, baby. Will Shipley.
Nick Chubb.
Chubb's still out there too.
Rank 101.
Wild.
That's wild. But yeah, I don't know. Going to be an interesting next couple days, seeing how all this plays out, and then we have the draft coming up. So we get through that, then we all hibernate for a while, and then football season's back.
Yep, exactly.
Don't forget about the UFL now. There's a little bit of football in between, or USFL, whatever it's called now.
Oh, the Rocks League? I'm in.
Yeah.
I'm in. If I can watch the Rock Cut promos before football
That's-
games, I'm so in.
That's where Jake Bates came from.
Yep, that's true.
Played for the Michigan Panthers.
That is true. All right, you guys have anything else to say before we close this one out? Sorry, we don't have any games today. We just wanted to catch up on free agency, talk a little bit with each other, and yeah, we'll have a guest on next episode. Harv, Beard in the Hair. I know he was supposed to be on this week, but with everything happening, we asked if he was okay to switch to next week, and he said yes. So keep an eye out for that episode.
Good here, though.
Yep.
I'm good.
Good here, too. So we will leave you guys at that. Let us know if we missed anything in the comments. You know, if you like the video, like it, subscribe to us on YouTube. We're still trying to grow, so we appreciate everything. And always say GG. Thanks for being a Gent. We'll see you guys later.
Hey, guys.
Bye.
See ya.